Happy lunch hour, guys. All right, pond cleaning day, and here we are taking a break. Uh, Anybody remember Margaret Thatcher's comment? The problem with communism is eventually you run out of other people's money. Add two more to the list of a long litany of examples. It never ceases to amaze me how these socialist communist states think, hey, we can bend them to our will if we just give them a whole bunch of free stuff and, they'll eventually do what they want. So let's start with this one. New Jersey last summer rolled out a program to give New Jersey residents a $5,000 tax credit, not $5,000 rebate, a $5,000 tax credit for somebody that buys or leases an electric vehicle. Guess what? Jersey said, we've got to stop it. We're out of money because we can't give those tax credits and let too many people take advantage of them because it sounded great, but we can't afford to pay it. So all those people that went out and bought EVs lately are going, what do you mean I don't get my tax credit? Well, sorry, we don't have enough of everybody else's money to give you your tax credit. You still need to pay the taxes. But oh, by the way, you're stuck with a vehicle that doesn't run in the wintertime, gets crappy mileage, and God help you if the batteries wear out because the batteries are worth more than the car is. So that was one. But of course, you have to go into the epitome for stupidity, which would be Gavin Newsom's California. You wonder why people are leaving. California is, remember, California is the state that lost something like 900,000 people last year and 2 million over the course of the last 2 years. That you can't get a U-Haul truck in California because there aren't any, because everybody leaves and nobody's going that way. So a couple of weeks ago, California came up with this great idea called Dream for All, where it was a home down payment program where low-income people under $300,000, okay, could get up to 20% down payment assistance. I'm going to get into that part in a second here. But could get 20% down payment assistance from the state to buy a home. That way everybody could live in a house. $300,000 is low income. I don't know about anybody else, but I've never made close to $300,000 in my life. So I guess I've been poor my entire life. Well, it took a whopping 12 days for California to run out of money to be able to do that. Okay, they had $300 million budgeted. They burned through that in 12 days. Because guess what? They ran out of other people's money. Stupidity. But as stupid as it is, I want to give you this. This is the criteria. This is how idiotic people are. This is what they count on for people to take advantage of these programs. Hey, honey, let's go buy a house. Gavin Newsom will give us a 20% down payment. So if we buy a house worth $500,000, which is probably a 2-bedroom bungalow, okay, Gavin Newsom is going to give us $100,000. Cool. We only have to pay $400 for the house, right? I mean, I know they're more expensive than that because I remember 20 years ago, my ex-sister-in-law had a bungalow an hour outside of San Francisco that she paid $600 for. Okay, but this is the stupid. Do you think they're just giving away the money? No. The state gets a stake in the ownership, a share of the ownership of the house. So yeah, the state's giving you the money and they own 20% of the house. So not only do you get to take out a mortgage loan on the house, you also get to take a lien out on the house. Because as the state says, well, that money will be repaid to us when you sell the house. That's called a lien, guys. All right? It's pretty straightforward and simple on that. Who in the hell would sign up for something where you have a lien on the house? You can't buy a house if there are tax liens, HOA liens, insurance liens, anything like that on, any sort of lien on the house. But California came up with this brilliant idea. Hey, we'll put a lien on the house, and therefore, when they sell, we get our money back. If they don't, because remember, these are supposedly low-income people, the state is now the owner of the property. Okay, it doesn't go into a foreclosure sale, or it doesn't go into a bankruptcy sale. The state says, we're the lien holder. We have the first rights. Okay. This is a real sneaky way to steal personal property from people. They ran out of money in 12 days to do it because there were enough stupid people in California that said, hey, you know what? This would be a good idea. This is the deal, guys. If it's too good to be true, it's not probably is, it is, okay? There's never been a government in the world that has ever succeeded by saying, you know what, we're going to give you a whole bunch of free stuff, because there's no such thing as free stuff. What they're doing is giving you something that somebody else worked hard for. They're not giving, Gavin Newsom's not coming up with this $300 million out of his pockets, okay? They're taking your tax dollars for their benefit to steal somebody else's house. And when they do, you're not the one that gets a stake in the house and has a break. They do. They took your money and used it for their benefit. Tell me that isn't criminal. Basically, if you break down the law, it is, okay? It's theft by deception. This is where they're taking us. Like I said this morning about out-stupiding each other, okay? They come up with every idea to see how many people are dumb enough to sign on the dotted line, all right? Whether it's California and the electric bills, or California and the homes, or New York and, yeah, I'll tell you what I'm eating, or New Jersey and, hey, here's the con on how we'll get you into electric vehicles. What one is going to come up next? I'll guarantee you it comes up in a blue state. That's for sure. Because just like COVID, all they're trying to do is see how many sheep will follow along. I mean, again, let's take a look at what's going on. You have with COVID, well, gee, now they've finally absolutely proven that it started in Wuhan. Big shocker there. You have the former DNI coming out and saying, well, if it started in Wuhan, then we know Fauci was involved in creating it. Gee, big shocker there. We've all said that. Then you get the latest one of the first version of the Moderna and the Biopharma, or whatever the company was, arm candy, has now had its FDA approval revoked. There was an interesting story that came out. The second one is still fine, but the first one, the monoculture of it was no longer any good, but the dye culture is, or somehow how that works. I'm not a scientist, okay? You get the story on Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield in Kentucky coming out and basically offering to bribe Kentucky doctors to convince patients to get the arm candy. Where does this stop? Ultimately, guys, it's all your money. It's all my money that is getting pissed away to further a agenda that only the absolutely idiotic want. We need to really pay attention. We need to read, how many times do you sign up for something? I don't know what it is. I mean, like yesterday I had to sign up for a new email. Speaking of, guys, do not use the Proton email. I can't access it, okay? It's done, all right? Don't send me anything there, just in case you missed yesterday's videos. New emails below. But of course, I had to go through and read all the terms and conditions. How many people actually read those or just go to the end and click I accept and move on? I mean, you don't know if buried in there it says, yeah, we're going to take your firstborn and, you know, you're signing your house over to us by agreeing to these terms. You don't read them, okay? People need to start reading these things and looking for it, because if it's coming out of the government, I guarantee you guys, it ain't in your best interest. Pinball out.